For Nastasia Philippovna it was even strange to see Aglaya like this. She looked at her and could not believe her eyes, and was decidedly at a loss for the first moment. Whether she was a woman who had read too many poems, as Yevgeny Pavlovich suggested, or was simply a madwoman, as the prince was convinced, in any case this woman, who on occasion had so cynical and brazen a manner, was in reality far more shy, tender, and trustful than one might have thought. True, there was much in her that was bookish, dreamy, self-enclosed, and fantastical, but much, too, that was strong and deep. The prince understood that. Suffering showed in his face. Aglaya noticed it and trembled with hatred. "How dare you address me like that?" she said with inexpressible haughtiness, in reply to Nastasia Philippovna's remark. "You probably misheard me." Nastasia Philippovna was surprised. "How did I address you? If you wanted to be an honest woman, why didn't you drop your seducer Totsky then, simply, without theatrics?" Aglaya said suddenly out of the blue. "What do you know about my position, that you dare to judge me?" Nastasia Philippovna gave a start and turned terribly pale. "I know that you didn't go to work, but went off with the rich Rogozhin, in order to present yourself as a fallen angel." "I'm not surprised that Totsky wanted to shoot himself because of a fallen angel." "Stop it!" Nastasia Philippovna said with repugnance and as if through pain. "You understand me as well as Darya Alexeyevna's chambermaid, who went to the justice of the peace the other day to make a complaint against her fiancé." "She'd have understood better than you. She's probably an honest girl and lives by her own labor." "Why do you have such contempt for a chambermaid?" "I don't have contempt for labor, but for you when you speak about labor. If you wanted to be an honest woman, you should have gone to work as a washerwoman." The two women stood up, pale-faced, and looked at each other. "Aglaya, stop. This is unfair," the prince cried out like a lost man. Rogozhin was no longer smiling, but listened with compressed lips and crossed arms. "Here, look at her," Nastasia Philippovna said, trembling with spite, "at this young lady. And I took her for an angel." Have you come to see me without your governess, Aglaya Ivanovna? And do you want me to tell you straight out, here and now, without embellishments, why you came? You were scared, that's why. Scared of you? Asked Aglaya, beside herself with naive and impudent amazement that the woman would dare to address her that way. Yes, of me. You're afraid of me, since you decided to come and see me. If you're afraid of someone, you don't despise him. And to think that I respected you, even up to this very minute. But do you know why you're afraid of me and what your main purpose is now? You wanted to find out personally whether he loves me more than you or not, because you're terribly jealous. He has already told me that he hates you, Aglaya barely murmured. Maybe I'm not worthy of him, only I think you're lying. He can't hate me, and he couldn't have said that. However, I'm prepared to forgive you, considering your position, only all the same I did think better of you. I thought you were more intelligent, yes, and even better looking, by God. Well, so take your treasure, here he is, looking at you, unable to collect his wits, take him for yourself, but on one condition, get out right now. This minute. She fell into an armchair and dissolved in tears. But suddenly something new began to gleam in her eyes. She looked intently and fixedly at Aglaya and got up from her seat. Or if you like, my girl, right now, I'll order him, do you hear? I'll simply order him, and he'll drop you at once and stay with me forever, and marry me, and you'll run home alone. Would you like that, my girl, would you? She cried like a crazy woman, perhaps almost not believing herself that she could utter such words. Aglaya rushed to the door in fear, but stopped in the doorway as if rooted there and listened. Would you like me to throw Rogojin out? You thought, my girl, that I was going to up and marry Rogojin for your good pleasure? Now I'll shout in front of you. Go, Rogojin. And say to the prince, remember what you promised? Lord! Why did I humiliate myself so before them? Didn't you assure me yourself, Prince, that you'd follow me whatever happened and never leave me, that you loved me, and forgave me everything, and yes, you said that, too. and I ran away from you only in order to unbind you, but now I don't want to. Why did she treat me like a loose woman? Ask Ragozhin how loose I am, he'll tell you. Now, when she has disgraced me, and that right in front of you, are you going to turn away from me and go out arm in arm with her? Then may you be cursed for that, because you're the only one I trusted. Go, Ragozhin, I don't need you. She cried, almost oblivious, struggling to free the words from her breast, her face distorted and her lips parched, obviously not believing one drop of her own bravado, but at the same time wishing to prolong the moment if only for a second and deceive herself. The impulse was so strong that she might have died, or so at least it seemed to the prince. Here he is, look, my girl. She finally cried out to Aglaya, pointing at the prince with her hand. If he doesn't come to me right now, if he doesn't take me and drop you, then you can have him, I give him up, I don't need him. Both she and Aglaya stopped as if in expectation, and they both gave him mad looks. But he may not have understood all the force of this challenge, even certainly did not, one may say,